Browning High Power. Conceived after the First World War to answer a French requirement, the Browning High Power took shape under John Moses Browning and reached completion under Dieudonné Saïve at FN after Browning's death in 1926. Saïve paired Browning's locked breech recoil system with his own staggered column magazine concept, producing a 13-round service pistol that entered Belgian service in 1935 as the P35. French sources used Grand Rendement and Grande Puissance. English export literature popularized high power. Early procurement decisions in France favored other designs, but the pistol would go on to arm dozens of militaries for decades. Mechanically, it is a steel single-action pistol chambered in 9mm with a slim grip that belies its double-stack capacity. Production pistols originally featured a magazine disconnect at French insistence and a feed ramp suited to ball ammunition. Later throating and geometry changes improved reliability with expanding bullets. The trigger and sights were service-grade, but ergonomics and pointability drew praise from armorers and shooters alike. By the late 20th century, FN and third-party shops offered numerous configurations from the blued T-series to heavier 40 S&W versions on cast frames. FN halted production in 2018, but the pattern persists through faithful modern copies and tributes such as Springfield Armory's SA-35 and Turkish builds from Giersen and Tissas. Belgian-made originals remain collectible, while updated clones keep the platform active on ranges worldwide. Walther PPQ. Walther's PPQ arrived in 2011 as an evolutionary successor to the P99QA and remained in service through 2021, with production continuing until 2023. The name expands to Polizeipistole Quick Defense and indicates the central design decision of fully preloaded striker. This brought a uniform short travel and reset absent the DA-SA transition of the P99, while the frame sights and magazines retained cross-compatibility with second-generation P9A9 components. In 2021, Walther announced the PDP as the replacement. The PPQ uses a short recoil locked breech system derived from modern Browning cam lock practice. Glass fiber reinforced polymer frames carry steel slides finished with tenifer treatment for exceptional corrosion resistance. Caliber offerings beside 9mm include 40 S&W and even 45 auto. Ambidextrous controls were standard with the original paddle release later joined by the M2 pattern's reversible push button. In 2016, polygonal rifling rolled into most 9mm and 40 barrels. 45 ACP models used it from the start. The PPQ saw adoption by Finland's police service in 2012 and Taiwan's National Police Agency from 2015 after endurance and accuracy trials. Its light first-shot pull did not meet German police technical rules, which led Walther to market it domestically as a special operations pistol rather than a standard duty sidearm. The PPQ line is now discontinued in favor of the optics-ready PDP, but secondary market availability and a loyal following keep the PPQ present in competition and personal use circles. Heckler & Koch VP9. Heckler & Koch returned to striker-fired pistols in 2014, with the VP9 the company's first such handgun since the VP70 of 1970. Development borrowed ergonomic lessons from the USP and P30, then combined them with striker simplicity to meet contemporary agency expectations. The VP moniker Volkspistole revived a legacy designation while signaling a general issue role rather than a niche product. The VP9 operates via short recoil and a locked breech. Its striker is fully cocked by slide movement, yielding a consistent single-action pull. A 4.09-inch barrel with polygonal rifling, a 15-round double-stack magazine, and a polymer frame with steel inserts anchor the design. A distinctive feature is the pair of removable charging supports at the slide's rear to aid manipulation with gloves or wet hands. Ambidexterity is thorough, combining bilateral slide stops with HK's paddle-style magazine release. Grip fit is unusually tunable. 3 backstraps and 3 sizes of side panels allow 27 combinations. HK pitched the VP9 to law enforcement and military users as a duty sidearm with straightforward controls and strong reliability. Independent and in-house testing recorded tight 25-yard groups and consistent function with a wide range of loads, including energetic NATO ball. The platform remains in production now, including optics-ready and extended slide variants, and it competes directly with Glock's G17, G19 family, Sig's P320, and Walther's PDP in agency solicitations and civilian usage. CZ75. The CZ75 emerged in 1975 at CZUB in Czechoslovakia. Designed behind the Iron Curtain, it nonetheless synthesized Western features: DASA trigger, high-capacity 9mm magazine, and robust steel construction into a coherent service pistol that built a reputation across borders. Early export hurdles reflected politics more than performance, yet word of its handling and durability traveled quickly. 2 mechanical traits define the model for many users. The slide runs inside the frame rails, lowering the bore axis and yielding a long bearing surface. This contributes to manageable recoil behavior and good mechanical accuracy. The frame is steel, lending mass for control in sustained fire. Standard pistols use a DASA system with a manual safety, or in some variants, a decocker. The format proved versatile, spawning compact tactical and competition-oriented branches. Adoption spread to military and police users, including Turkey and Israel. And the pattern seeded licensed and unlicensed derivatives worldwide, such as the Jericho 941. Civilian shooters in IPSC and related disciplines gravitated to the CZ75 family for controllability and rapid follow-up shots. It is regarded by many as the second most copied pistol design in the world, surpassed only by the M1911, with decades of production by both authorized and unlicensed manufacturers. The SP01 and other evolutions added rails, extended beaver tails, better sights, and improved triggers. Current production continues in multiple configurations, and long-standing clone production ensures parts and magazines remain easy to source. Springfield Armory Hellcat. Springfield's Hellcat arrived in 2019 as a micro-compact 9mm, designed and built by HS Product in Croatia, the same firm responsible for the HS2000 line. In European markets, the pistol carries the H11 and HM11 RDR designation. In the United States, Springfield handles importation and branding. The design targeted a specific niche, maximum capacity in a pocketable footprint at a moment when interest in optics-ready concealed carry pistols was accelerating. The core package pairs a 3.0-inch cold hammer-forged barrel with a 1-inch wide polymer frame and a melanite-treated slide. Magazine options provided 11+1 flush-fit capacity or 13+1 with an extended base plate, setting a new capacity benchmark for pistols of this size at launch. Sighting systems typically combine a tritium, luminescent front with a U-notch rear to encourage rapid alignment. OSP models include a slide cut for micro red dot optics. Controls are streamlined with a reversible magazine release and optional manual safety in some SKUs. The intended user base centers on civilian concealed carriers and law enforcement personnel seeking an off-duty or backup pistol. HS Products' established manufacturing standards, honed through military contracts and NATO compliance, underpin durability claims. The line remains in active production and has expanded into the RDP package with compensator and optic, plus the slightly upsized Hellcat Pro with a 15-round magazine and longer sight radius. Smith & Wesson M&P9 M2.0. Smith & Wesson's military and police lineage began in 1899 as a revolver line and evolved into a modern polymer-framed pistol family in 2005. The M&P9 M2.0 update, released in 2017, addressed trigger characteristics, frame texture, and internal stiffness while keeping the duty pistol mission profile. The contemporary M&P should not be confused with earlier S&W polymer projects. While development drew lessons from Sigma and SW99 experiences, parts interchangeability is not present. The M2.0 uses a short recoil locked breech system and a striker-fired mechanism with a hinged trigger, typically breaking in the 6-pound range, depending on variant. A steel chassis extends far into the dust cover to curb flex and stiffen the accessory rail. Slides and barrels receive a melanite treatment, and the grip angle sits at 18 degrees with 4 interchangeable palm swell inserts to tune reach to the trigger. Disassembly does not require a trigger press, an intentional divergence from Glock's routine. Intended users span law enforcement, armed security, and civilians continuing a brand arc that once saw the M&P label on the Model 10 revolver riding in holsters worldwide. Sig P365. Sig Sauer introduced the P365 at SHOT Show 2018 as a purpose-built micro-compact with a removable serialized fire control unit. The FCU concept seen earlier in Sig's modular designs allows one legal core to support multiple grip modules, slides, and barrels. Development followed the retirement of the P290 RS and answered demand for a small pistol that carried like a single stack yet matched compact class capacities. Mechanically, the P365 is a striker-fired short recoil pistol with a fully preloaded striker for a consistent pull. A hybrid magazine architecture squeezes 10 rounds into a 1-inch wide frame with 12, 15, 17, and 21-round options across variants. Most models ship with X-Ray 3 tritium night sights. Optics cuts in shield RMSC patterns appear on the X and XL series and evolve to a 1913 rail and larger format on the X Macro and Fuse models. Manual safety and non-safety SKUs coexist, and flat triggers are standard on several trims. The immediate target market comprised concealed carriers seeking more rounds without a size penalty. Adoption by U.S. police units as backup or plainclothes guns followed. A broad aftermarket grew quickly, including metal grip modules from boutique makers and tuned fire control parts. The line remains current and diversified, from the original 3.1-inch model to the 3.7-inch XL and compensated optics-ready X Macro with interchangeable backstraps. The family helped define the modern high-capacity micro-compact space that many competitors now occupy as well. Glock 17. Gaston Glock's first firearm design, completed for Austrian military trials in 1981, set the template for the modern polymer-framed striker-fired duty pistol. The G-17 secured Austrian adoption in 1983 as the P80, then spread rapidly to other militaries and police agencies. Early American law enforcement contracts in the mid-1980s accelerated civilian awareness, while pop culture myths about undetectable plastic guns collided with reality in airport metal detectors and NATO testing labs. The G-17's core features remain deliberately simple: a short recoil locked breech action with a partially pre-cocked striker, a 17-round double-stack magazine, and a polymer frame with steel rail inserts. The safe action system layers a trigger safety firing pin block and drop safety without an external manual lever. Parts count sits in the mid-30s, which facilitates maintenance and modular repairs. Polygonal rifling defined early barrels. Gen 5 models introduced the Glock Marksman barrel, revised slide bevels, an ambidextrous slide stop, and an NDLC surface treatment with MOS-cut slides for optics in many SKUs. From the first generation's pebble-textured grip through Gen 3 finger grooves, Gen 4 backstraps, and the grooveless Gen 5 frame ergonomics changed incrementally, while holster fit and manual of arms stayed consistent. Military, police, and civilian users continue to field the G-17 globally, and the model remains the foundation for extended slide competition versions and compact derivatives. Production of the current generation continues alongside occasional limited runs of earlier patterns. Beretta's 92FS M9. Beretta's 92FS became the U.S. military's M9 in 1985 after extensive trials to replace the M1911A1 and assorted 38 special revolvers, aligning service sidearms with NATO's 9mm standard. The pistol formally entered full service in 1990 and saw use across operations from Panama to Southwest Asia and later conflicts. A cost advantage helped it edge out the Sig P365 during procurement, while performance trials established endurance under adverse conditions. The 92 family uses a short recoil falling block system rather than a tilting barrel coupled to a DA/SA trigger. Standard 92FS M9 dimensions include a 4.9-inch barrel, an unloaded weight around 34 ounces, and a 15-round magazine. Later, M9A3 R92X variants raised capacity. Brunetton slide finishes hard-chromed bores and a firing pin block contribute to service life and safety. Early slide breakages led to the adoption of an enlarged hammer pin that prevents slide separation into the shooter's face, a change that persisted in later production. Variants evolved with user feedback. The M9A1 added a rail and improved grip texture for gloved handling. The M9A3 brought a slimmer Vertec grip removable sights, a universal slide that supports decocker-only operation, and desert-themed finishes. The M9A4 added optics-ready capability and an 18-round magazine. The platform is being replaced in U.S. service by SIG's M18 under the modular handgun system, yet Beretta continues commercial production, and some U.S. and Allied units retain the pistol where logistics and training favor continuity. Glock 19. Glock introduced the G19 in 1988 as a compact derivative of the G17, pairing a shorter slide and barrel with a reduced-length grip that still feeds from a 15-round magazine. The model entered U.S. law enforcement service during the broad shift from revolvers to semi-automatics in the late 1980s and 1990s and has remained common on duty belts and in plainclothes roles since. The Gen 5 G19 maintains the company's short recoil, partially pre-cocked striker system and safe action architecture. A 4-inch barrel and optics-ready MOS option, ambidextrous slide stop flared magazine well, and NDLC coating characterize current production. Traditional polygonal rifling gave way to the marksman barrel profile, which together with subtle internal updates refined practical accuracy and reliability. Weight remains manageable for daily carry while offering enough mass for controllable strings of fire. The Glock 19 serves across a wide spectrum from military special operations units to federal agencies and municipal police forces. The FBI's 19M variant incorporates agency-specific refinements, while retaining the platform's core dimensions and mechanics. In the civilian realm, it benefits from a vast support network of available magazines, holsters, optics, trigger assemblies, and complete slide units. At the time of this video, the Glock 19 is still in full production in both standard and MOS-ready versions, along with the 19X variant that combines a compact-length slide with a full-size frame. It remains in service with military special operations units worldwide, as well as federal and state law enforcement agencies and municipal departments, while also maintaining a large civilian following backed by one of the most expansive aftermarket support networks in the handgun industry. One recent development has been Glock's decision to indefinitely pull its new COA-equipped pistols from the civilian market. These models fitted with Aimpoint COA optic via the new A-cut mounting system are supposedly being reserved for military contracts. Glock has not confirmed the specific destination for these orders, but industry speculation links the move to renewed interest in alternatives to the M17 and M18 series following safety-related pauses in P-Theater 20 used by certain U.S. military commands. If you liked this video, consider giving it a thumbs up, sharing it with other firearm enthusiasts, and subscribing for more content like it. Thanks for watching.